Screw 616. Fuck Earth Prime. This season, we're going multiversal. Super Nerdland brings you graded .5.
Hey everybody, welcome to Graded .5. I'm your host Jason. With me tonight are Evan.
Howdy.
And Dick.
I'm not here. Don't lie to them.
Wayne would be here, but we assume he has fallen into another donut coma. So, yeah. 2-part season finale here. Yeah, the battle of the Alex Ross dystopias, I guess. Tonight we're doing the Marvel side, because, everybody knows what's coming next. And we wanted to save the best for last. So, yeah. We got Earth X. 1999 Marvel Comics. Written by Jim Kruger, based off notes by Alex Ross, with art by John Paul Leon. Yeah. I think we're going to approach this a different way. I want to look at specific characters and how they've changed from their mainstream counterparts and kind of fill in the story from that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's probably good. A better way to handle this, honestly.
Yeah, this plot's a little convoluted.
A little?
Let's just say there were rails, and then there weren't rails. Because we went pretty clean off of those rails around issue 5 or 6.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Let's start off.
I think that's a bad thing.
Let's start off with the obvious. The first characters we're introduced to, Uatu, the Watcher, now blind, living out in the blue area of the moon, watching humanity like the world's creepiest voyeur.
Yeah. Not wrong.
Yeah. He seems way different from the mainstream version and how he's written. He's a lot more detached. Yeah,
and he's very, very, especially keen not to be involved in any of the events. It's not just detachment from the events. Usually that's pretty clear. He's, trying not to interfere too much with what's going on. But he's also, emotionally detached, if that makes sense. He's, encouraging our other watchers to abandon their sense of morality, their sense of responsibility, after he's sort of kidnapped them.
Yeah. So we got this very callous Uatu.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, we find out why, of course. Because he's part of the machine, when you get down to it. But Uatu kidnaps X-51, the Machine Man. Really cool, little obscure-ish Marvel character. He's just a living robot. Oh, sentient robot.
He's a human.
Well, no, he knows he's not human. He just tries to act human.
Well, maybe thinks he's a human is too much, but yeah, behaves like a human would be more apt.
So Uatu kidnaps him and strips him of his outer appearance, trying to dehumanize the Machine Man. And
he looks cool as fuck.
Yeah. He looks like something out of a 70s Marvel Cosmic series. You'd almost expect to see him taking on Adam Warlock or something back in old issues of Marvel Presents.
Expect him hanging out with some Skrulls or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Uatu does all this to dehumanize the Machine Man so that he can turn the Machine Man into the new Watcher. Into his new set of eyes, basically. And there's
because
he's
been blinded.
Yeah. And there's a back and forth between them through the whole series. That's really interesting. Uatu constantly trying to get the Machine Man to dehumanize himself.
To further detach.
Yeah. And one
great
quick
little
one quick second, we gotta do something important here. Sorry, a little technical difficulty, but it is now fixed. Okay, yeah, like, there's a back and forth, like, Uatu constantly trying to get X-51 to detach from his human side and look at things objectively and see where the threads are going between these disparate situations that don't really seem all that connected at first. But of course, coalesce into this greater picture that is fucking insane to look at.
Yeah, no, it takes its sweet time building up, but gives us like an image of basically everyone of any consequence in the Marvel universe, including what we got, like all the fantastic, like pretty much everybody. I even want to say specific names because I'd spend like 5 minutes here just listing people.
Yeah. Let's look at one of the other really big characters in this, Captain America, who's no longer really Captain America. He's like about 100 years old at this point. Lost all his hair, but he's still buff as hell, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an A carved into his forehead.
That's not fucked up at all.
Yeah, and he's literally draped in the American flag.
Yeah, the only thing that looks like old Cap, like he's got his old Cap tights on, and he's got the shield. But other than that, he's almost unrecognizable. Like, you would think that it's a lot like with many of the characters in this, you'd think it's almost an entirely different character if it wasn't, so clearly denoted that it's Cap.
I mean, this is a Cap that has, gone through the death of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So he's seen more shit than even, current Cap.
Yeah. It's not just Bucky that's dead this time.
It's a Cap who is devoid of, almost devoid of hope. He's just, holding on to the edge of the cliff with his fingertips kind of thing. You see, especially when, like, the skull pops in and he's just like, am I really just doomed to fight it out for the rest of whatever?
Well, like, the other thing is it's not just Cap who is devoid of hope. It's like America is also devoid of hope in a lot of ways. It seems like, it's a sort of apocalyptic world. And, like every great iteration of Captain America, his personality is very much reflected by the America that he lives in. Which is to say, in this case, somewhat lacking in hope, doubtful of their future, and, in a state of decay where you've got Hydra walking around and stuff like that.
That are now a literal fucking alien created Hydra.
Yeah.
Including a bunch of former superheroes like the Falcon and She-Hulk. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of mind control going on in this shit.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of mind control going on.
That's one of the things that I kind of liked but didn't like at the same time. It was an interesting sort of way to move the plot forward, but at the same time I felt like it was kind of copy-outy in a way, but that's just me. I know that the story wouldn't exist if there wasn't a lot of the mind control stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's personal preference sort of a thing. It's just like you have these amazing, powerful beings, and then, I don't know. That always confused me how superheroes could be, mentally dominated.
It just makes me happy that they did at 2 or 3 major mind control agents and didn't introduce dudes like Maximus or anything like that, even though...
Like the Purple Man.
And even funnier, managed to introduce all these mind control things with only one of the characters having genuine psychic powers because all the other telepaths are dead.
Yeah, and that was a nice touch. And yeah, they kept it under control, which was a good thing. But sorry for derailing us there, talking about mind control.
No, it's all good.
Very good.
Now, let's go.
I gotta say,
okay, go for
real quick though, I like the way that Captain America looks in this.
Yeah, he looks
it's
awesome.
a very logical fucking progression for what would happen, especially with the events that take place.
I just want to. There's like a 20-year gap in this story between, with the start of when Uatu is blinded and when X-51 takes over, and a bunch of characters just fucking die. I want to go like bullet point some of them real quick because it's kind of funny. Okay. Daredevil and Elektra are both killed by Bullseye. Jean Grey dies at the moment of the Skull's telepathic birth.
Yep.
Human Torch gets his neck snapped by Namor. Fucking
Sue Storm is dead. That's
Sue Storm gets blown. Point. Oh, dude, that even comes bigger in the Successor series.
God damn it.
She comes back.
God damn it. Alright, who else is dead?
Professor X died with Jean Grey, same thing. Banshee was
dead.
Yep. Doom's dead. Banshee was killed by Black Tom Cassidy.
Stephen Strange is pretty much
sort of half dead.
He's as dead as a Sorcerer Supreme can be.
Yeah. Gambit and Rogue both die because Rogue kissed Gambit.
Aw.
Yeah. However,
and that's just the ones who were dead.
I do have to say there's a slight retcon later on. Beast says that she felt so much grief over Gambit's death she went to have her powers removed by Sauron, who killed her.
Metal.
Yeah. Let's see. Fucking Doc Samson pulled himself inside out.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, the Skull did it. Let's see. There's other people, like a bunch of Avengers.
I mean, I figure if we don't see dudes like Hawkeye, they probably didn't make it.
Yeah. Bullseye dies. Fuck. Kingpin dies.
That's just the ones who are dead. Like, there's a lot of people who are left, worse off than they would be if they died.
I think that's where Strange fits.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where Strange fits. I think, Logan gets a pretty raw deal. Being a fat motherfucker who can't even drink or get up.
Let me just say I also feel pretty bad for Peter Parker because he looks like he's been eating too much Uncle Ben's rice.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
That is the most severe case of fucking dad bod I've seen ever on a Marvel superhero.
Right?
It was pretty intense.
We keep referencing the Skull. I think we should go into him a bit. He's 13 or something? Some little fucking kid who's got the telepathic power to enslave an entire country and possibly the world.
You gonna reveal the guy's name?
You can go for that one.
Franklin Richards, one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe.
That's Galactus, not Skull.
Oh. Okay, sure.
Dumbass.
Sure, I'll take that.
Yeah, we're talking about the Skull, the little telepathic kid who gets his neck snapped by Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're jumping the gun, Evan.
Oh, I'm retarded then. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Yeah.
We'll sacrifice him later.
Telepathic Kid was taken over at the start of it. It's like the area of fucking California, and he just starts marching across the country. He sits in a hollowed out fucking shell of MODOK, who we have to assume is dead. They never explicitly say. I mean, that visual.
I am retarded. I'm retarded. I thought that was him the whole time. Okay. Well, that explains some things in the plot. Okay. Convoluted plot, still convoluted.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way we could really fucking streamline this without reading, like, word for word from Wikipedia and missing half the plot points, you know?
Mm-hmm. True that.
But yeah, the Skull winds up,
so we get this telepathic kid.
Yep, enslaving heroes and everything, and villains, and making him do what he wants, while they still maintain, like, the ability to talk freely, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll literally have people beating up on people and apologizing for it at the same time.
And who's he using to he's got Iron Maiden for the most part, but who's the other person that he's using to
Namor.
Well, Namor too, but he's fucking with people's minds. Is that him, or is that one of his bodyguards?
Oh, the Spiders Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird fucking case.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the purpose of that was, because you don't even need that character. You just have Red Skull doing it.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal was with that character.
Other than looking really cool.
Looking cool and throwing, like, hallucination-inducing webs. Yeah. And
kind of spider webs.
And kind of being a little bit of a bitch.
This is true.
But yeah, it was... that character was kind of one of the low points of the series to me.
I'll give you that.
Like, on one hand, it's like, hey, a Spider-Man ripoff character. Then it's like, hey, it's not even a good Spider-Man ripoff character.
Because we do have a good Spider-Man ripoff character in this.
Yeah, Peter's daughter, May.
Yeah, who's the new Venom.
But is in control.
Or, I mean, relative to normal Venom, yes. I would say that we don't get enough screen time to see whether she's got full control, but she's got enough control.
Yeah, definitely an underutilized character in this whole thing. I found the whole idea of May Parker being in control of the Venom symbiote being fucking interesting as shit, and they didn't do enough with it, in my opinion.
I just want to touch back on a funny death that I was just reminded of. Fucking Giant Man gets impaled on the Washington Monument.
I do not remember that, but
yeah,
that sounds pretty fitting.
Mind you, I'm also pulling in information from the supplementals and my knowledge of the other two series that fills in more of the timeline.
Okay, yeah, that certainly helps. So who else do we have in here that's really cool? Namor,
yeah.
Let's talk about him.
So he snaps,
enough credit.
He snaps Johnny Storm's neck, and in turn, Franklin Richards literally says, "You're gonna burn for all eternity," and half of Namor bursts into fucking flames. Now, this fucks with Namor because, he's got to stay on ground as much as he stays underwater, or he gets out of whack and goes crazy. Now, however, anytime he's outside of the water, he bursts into fucking flame.
Like a fucking half-human torch.
Yeah, Namor's a little fucked at the moment. And, he gets mind-controlled by the skull. And Yeah, shit does not go well for Namor all around. He's forced to fish enough to feed, like California, because there's a huge meat shortage going on because, everybody... Oh yeah, huge fucking spoiler alert. Everybody's a fucking Inhuman.
Wait, no, I thought everyone was a mutant.
The way Uatu says
I know.
Yeah,
Potato,
yeah,
tomato. I mean, let's be real. Inhumans is just so that way Fox doesn't get any money.
Well, this is before all that.
I know, but nowadays with everything that
Yeah, Black Bolt, Blackagon, or Blackagar, Boltagon, same thing.
Yeah.
We got a Namor who's half on fire. Who else?
We got a Reed Richards who now lives in Doom's armor and doesn't stretch anymore.
And doesn't sleep.
And lives in Doom's castle and has taken over Latveria, basically. Has become the new Doom, a self-imposed, exile from everyone around him. Ben Grimm's married to Alicia Masters and has 2 kids that are
Little Ben
Grimms. And
do you think that she molded them from clay, or do you think that they actually had kids?
I think they actually had kids, because if you notice, the things she molds from the clay are gray.
Okay. No, that makes sense. She's like one of the most important characters in this story arc.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
Especially how she Trojan Horse Captain America in. Covering him in a layer of clay that he breaks out and snaps the fucking skull's neck.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It was kind of baller seeing Captain America just up and kill someone.
Yeah. That's not usually what happens. Guys usually got some level of restraint or realizes that, or it's always understood that killing somebody isn't going to advance America's goals as much as knocking them out and imprisoning them.
Well, when when everything is taken away from a man and he has nothing to lose, he's pushed to the point of breaking, and I think that's really what this whole moment signifies, is that America is pretty much gone for the most part with regards to what's going on with everything. So the whole thing of him just busting out and snapping this guy's neck just straight up, and he's a 13-year-old fucking boy. It's because he's been pushed to this edge, and there's no longer do we have any of the Steve in there that we know and love anymore. He's a man broken well beyond anything that we've seen ever, because he's had his country, his whole identity, the very thing that he has dedicated himself to defending, snatched away from him. So he has nothing left to live for, pretty much. The one woman that he fell in love with, she's been long dead for hundreds of years. Steve doesn't really have very many romantic opportunities throughout the comics either. So
he was fucking frozen for 20 odd years.
Yeah, so there's it's this whole thing where he's gotten to a point where he's lost the one last thing that he was holding on to, and that was America. And so that's why I like the way that the art style portrays him too, is because he's seen as very savage and brutal, and he's a face of America that we don't see, and it's this sort of grizzled war veteran face almost, and that's I really like that a lot.
Yeah, and he's got the old school he looks like a gladiator almost.
Yeah.
With the he's got an American flag toga on
Fall
the
of
top
Rome,
half. Yeah.
maybe reference, hint, wink, wink. I think that's the symbolism that was there, though, is that Rome, aka America, fell. Anyway,
let's talk about Hulk. Hulk's an interesting case. Hulk is now split into 2 bodies. One of them is like an 8-year-old Bruce Banner who is blind. And then the other is a very fucking ape-like Hulk that is completely devoid of any intelligence and serves as Banner's... Yeah, it's soulless and serves as Banner's eyes. Like, that is the strangest permutation of Hulk I've ever seen.
It's really cool, though.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell was going on when I saw it at first, but great twist on the character.
Yeah, and like how they utilized it, to basically remote viewing via Hulk. That was kind of interesting. But yeah, little fucking boy Bruce doesn't age anymore, and has been de-aged, in fact, and is completely blind if not for the Hulk. I'm wondering where the design to make him blind came from. Blindness is a recurring theme in this, too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it draws a lot of parallels with Uatu and X-51. Except, with the Uatu, it's the old man who's blind, and X-51 who takes the role of the boy, the learning boy.
Okay.
In that case.
Now, because I know you're chomping at the bit to do it, let's talk about your boy.
Hellboy?
No. The other one.
Little Reed? Little Franklin?
No.
Damn it.
Bolt.
Oh, yeah. I got too many boys now. Black Bolt, this is like the coolest design I've ever seen for Black Bolt. He's got the big, he looks like a Black Knight from Dark Souls. I'd be absolutely shocked if Dark Souls didn't take the imagery from there. The Inhumans come back to Earth. They're looking for Black Bolt's son because they need to marry him to another Inhuman.
To Quicksilver's daughter.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that plot point.
It's Quicksilver and Crystal's daughter.
Okay. Yeah, and they've come back to Earth to marry him off. And I mean, he does what Black Bolt does best, which is stand there and look really cool, while Medusa and other folks do his talking for him. And I guess we'll get into spoilers again. Oh,
yeah.
We're already well into that territory. Black Bolt is the source of all of the mutations in humanity. He's help me out here, because I'm not as well versed in the Inhumans outside of Black Bolt. But Black Bolt's essentially released the Terrigen Mist on Earth so that when he comes back, he can live there. He can plant his seed and rule over his new kingdom.
Well, that, and it also releases humanity from the Celestials.
Yeah, that stuff I was a little more than confused about, all the Celestial shit. Be straight honest with you.
Yeah. Basically, all of life is a guarded system meant to, in turn, guard a celestial egg at the core of the Earth. That will hatch into a new celestial.
Which is like a giant titan, dude.
The giant space god.
Okay, sweet.
Who may or may not eat planets.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They destroy planets by giving birth to new celestials, so.
Yeah, so they're more like space parasite, or space cuckoos.
And they're also scientists, because they, alter the evolutionary path of the dominant life forms on the planet to protect the egg from, as it turns out, Galactus.
Mm-hmm. What's happened to Galactus in this reality, Jason?
He got turned into a star.
By Reed fucking Richards.
Yeah. But Galactus has to exist, so Galactus was replaced by the only person powerful enough to do it. Franklin fucking Richards. Who literally has to forget the fact that he ever was Franklin Richards and remain as Galactus. Or reality itself crumbles, basically. The Celestials outnumber everything else and, shit turns really bad. Yeah, that was pretty fucked up, too.
I don't know. That was like one of the coolest parts for me, where you've got like Reed Richards having to talk to his son to get him to eat the planet that he's on, or get him to, almost fight all the Celestials so he can almost eat the planet that Reed Richards lives on, and then he's got to tell his kid, hey, why did you call me Franklin? Well, I'm not your dad. Come on. I'm not your dad. No, don't bring Sue Storm back to life, even though that would make me happy. Don't do that.
Right.
Oh, I'm just talking in circles, though.
So yeah, you've got Franklin Richards as the World Devourer. And his big purple armor. Again, pretty fucking weird.
See, and this is the part where it just started feeling too fan fiction-y for me. I don't know. I feel like the writing went very off the rails and kind of wasn't in line with what was set up at the beginning, really. Because, I don't know. I mean, if you want to talk about the payoff and everything and the end of the arc and whatnot for this series, you probably should, but I just felt like it wasn't worth it, personally. I know I don't have the most popular opinion right now, but this just didn't captivate me.
Well, no, somewhere around issue 6, we stopped getting Alex Ross in terms of, being co-billed for story and script. He started getting credit with, story, cover, character design, rather than story and script. So I think we might be seeing some of the effects of that.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel as cohesive as the first six. The first six issues, not episodes, just, I don't know. They felt really cohesive, really well put together. There was a lot of intrigue and interesting stuff going on, and then it's like putting books in a series after the author stops writing it because it wasn't selling well or something, and left it on a cliffhanger. That's kind of what felt like happened here, almost, But I don't know. Everything after issue 6 just kind of suffers for me because it just feels very fan fiction-y and very, okay. So how many other things can we just shove in here? Okay. Yeah, we'll shove more Marvel people in here, and we'll have more subplots. And on the bright side, everything wraps up eventually, for the most part, or is wrapped up by another plot point being wrapped up. So I'll at least give them that. But I don't know. Maybe Jason can explain to me why this feels so fan fiction-y to me. Maybe it's because
it is
comics.
No, yeah. Because it is. This was all came about when Wizard magazine basically.
Oh, we lost the
microphone.
No, basically. No, actually, I had a back spasm and cracked my microphone on my shoulder.
Oh damn!
That happens. Wizard asked Alex Ross to create a dystopian future, and this is what became of the notes. That's basically,
okay.
Yeah.
That helps explain some things.
Yeah, so it is fan fiction.
So it's like the Doom Bible? That's a good comparison, the Doom Bible?
Yeah.
The Orange Catholic Bible?
No. The Doom Bible for when Doom was in development.
Okay. Doom. You said Doom, not Dune. I got really excited.
No. Doom.
I got really excited.
No, Doom 1, there was a whole Bible written by a guy whose name I can't remember right now because I'm not completely mentally here. But he wrote a whole bunch of stuff about story and like this interconnected hub world and a whole bunch of other cool stuff, and a whole bunch of it didn't get used. And then we got Doom that we got, which was probably a good thing. But this is the exact opposite, where we had the notes for Earth X, and like they were really solid and good, and then the people who came by and picked up the notes after the fact were like, oh, I know where this was going, and then you get like Machinima made in Gary's mod, and you can still see the rigging.
Yeah, like I feel like it had they probably had a pretty clear ending with all the crazy celestial stuff. I just feel like they probably could have skipped, like they sort of dragged it out a couple issues longer maybe than it needed to be. I think a lot of the plot points could have been resolved a little cleaner. We didn't need like making the team.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need the traveling to the land of the undead to meet Captain Marvel quite so much.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but like you could have cleaned up all these plot points and everything, and you could have streamlined them into a lot fewer books and written them better. That's the other thing that I think kind of irks me about this is there's a lot of parts that are just I don't want to say poorly written, but lazily written. Like they needed to get something out. You know what I mean? Like they needed to get something done, so they wrote it this way because it's faster that way, so we can get it to art, so we can print it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? It feels kind of like Marvel stumbled upon money and didn't realize it, and then beat the horse to death, and that caused the quality to suffer.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd taken their time and done more of the indie thing, where you take your sweet time and you let it progress at a admittedly slower rate, but you let your writer write. It would be a little more effective.
Now, let's look at how the gods got fucked here.
That is a good.
The Asgardians?
All of the Marvel gods, not just the Asgardians. Yeah. The Olympians, everything else.
All of them got fucked.
They were never gods to begin with. They were hyper-advanced aliens that have no identity of their own and base their identity off of the people around them. People in the Northlands worshipped the Asgardians. They became the Asgardians.
Mm-hmm.
And they act out their lives according to the beliefs of the people. When Odin,
the Norsemen believed that hell existed, so hell existed. The Norse folks believed that the Asgardians should talk a certain way, so they talked a certain way.
Like, so far
I really liked that.
This goes so far that when Odin cast Thor to Earth to learn humility, it was also to remind humans that the Asgardian gods existed, so that they continued to believe.
Yeah, I want to say this is probably one of my favorite fucking parts about this thing. Yes, it was it's definitely fan fiction-y, don't get me wrong, but I liked it because that's the way that I think that it should work anyway when it comes to deities, but that's because I have a very interesting opinion on mythology in general, but especially in the Marvel universe, that's the way that it makes a lot of sense that they would, because you look at Asgard, you look at Thor and their technology and things like that, and Asgard, and it's very, very advanced alien technology, but for the longest time it's just been kind of explained away as, it's a comic book, or whatever. And then this kind of actually gives a decent explanation for why they have such advanced technology and whatnot and everything. And I think that, for me, kind of gives me some closure in a way when it comes to weird little things that aren't explained, but you just kind of swallow them because, you have to suspend your disbelief for long enough to enjoy something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know, it kind of appeals to the lore nerd in me, where that just makes a lot more sense than any sort of explanation that was kind of given by the mainstream comics for those.
Oh, and did I mention the President of the United States is the fucking Green Goblin?
No, but we should probably mention that.
Yeah, the President of the United States is the fucking Green Goblin.
Norman Osborn.
Who in his mutation actually became physically the Green Goblin and wears a mask to make himself look like Norman Osborn.
That was a pretty cool touch.
He's in a secret pact with Tony Stark for, money and power. Well, not money, but, different levels of power between the two of them. And, one hand
was Reed.
No, it was Tony.
It was Tony? Okay, then I was confusing Tony and Reed because they both looked like old wizard men.
Yeah.
At the end of it. I think they probably
that's very true.
They probably could have kept the goatee on Tony or something. Help my dumb ass out. These old men look alike.
I just would have made the vibranium generator on him more obvious than anything that he was in personally. The thing that's keeping the shrapnel away from his heart. That would have made it easier.
That's not vibranium generator. It's
not vibranium.
It was a repulsor generator back in those days.
It was still the repulsor? It wasn't the vibranium one yet?
Vibranium is a metal, dude.
Yeah, we got a ton of vibranium in this damn boat.
Not vibranium. What the fuck is the... Okay, that's not important right now. Sorry. Whatever the fucking arc generator thing is made out of. I thought it was vibranium.
Yeah, we got a bunch of fucking vibranium in this book. We should probably...
We should probably talk about that. We didn't even mention that. That's kind of fucking important.
Oh yeah, vibranium is the placenta meant to convert everything into energy to keep the celestial egg alive. That's why the vibranium mound in Wakanda grows. That's why it converts sound into energy. Yeah.
Reed. Oh, yeah. Part of what makes Reed so interesting in this is that he blames himself for converting all of humanity into mutants because he did fuck with some vibranium shit, pretty much.
He was going to make a vibranium power network.
Mm-hmm. And it drives him up a fucking wall.
And it turns out it was never the vibranium. It was Black Bolt detonating the Terrigen bomb.
Yeah, stopping Maximus and then doing what Maximus did anyway.
Yep.
I kept waiting for Black Bolt to take his mask off and be Maximus or be like a Skrull or some shit like that.
Some big swerve, yeah.
Yeah, but nope, he was just Black Bolt, but looked really cool.
Let's see, who else is in this that actually matters?
Black Bolt's son actually sort of matters.
Briefly.
Who we find out is briefly. Yeah, I would have loved to see them we barely ever unleash any Black Bolt powers.
That comes in the second and third series.
Oh, okay.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Black Bolt overpowered even by Marvel standards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he gets completely shattered by one of these Celestials. Admittedly, he's calling out to the Heralds of Galactus and not really worried about fighting the Celestials, but,
Yeah.
still flies into space and gets blown up.
And you get to kind of see his face in that one scene, and he's all desiccated looking and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say it's really funny that if somebody who hasn't read Earth X were to listen to us talk about all this shit and everything, they'd just be like, dude, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Like, this sounds like one of my Japanese animes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, everything we've talked about right now, I just thought about it, and I'm like, if I hadn't read this, I would totally think that they were pulling my fucking leg that this existed.
Why are you guys making up all this fan fiction about Marvel right now?
It's just like, where did all this fucking lore come from? Are you guys bullshitting me? It's like, if the art wasn't so good and there wasn't, 12 issues plus 3 supplemental things and everything in there, I would have totally thought that Jason made this himself and was just fucking bullshitting me. This is like, yeah, this is real. This is totally a real thing.
Jason can't draw this good.
No, but Daryl can.
This is true.
And the fucked up part is we didn't get the original ending.
What's the original ending?
Captain America, suspecting Captain Marvel's treachery, would have killed Marvel just as Marvel put the energy wall around the universe to keep out the Celestials and the Elders. At this final moment... Oh god, no, never mind, this is Paradise X. Why is this listed on Earth X? Yeah, this is fucked up. Dude, like, no, seriously. I'm going to go on with this a bit, actually. I'm going somewhere here. As fucked up as Earth X is, Universe X and Paradise X are even more fucked up, but they're not as good.
Those are the two sequels?
Yeah. Like, literally, fucking this ending for Paradise X. This is basically the Cap ascending to the throne of godhood. And not like, the Asgardian fate gods, like literally godhood. For the entire universe kind of thing. And it's just like, it just keeps getting snowballing bigger and bigger and more fucked up.
That's so weird.
You get expanded shit for fucking other characters that were never brought up in Earth X. You find out how other characters died, where they've gone, and some of them are just weird.
So then I got a question. Are the other two series less fan-fiction-y or more fan-fiction?
More.
This one, are they satisfying though? Because this one if it had gone full head at first into the deep end on the fan-fiction scale, I think I might have liked it better. But it kind of felt like it was pussyfooting between the shallow end and the deep end of going off of crazy. I think that's probably why this didn't appeal to me as much as I thought it was going to. So they go further off the deep end then? With, okay, so
but is the
I should
artist
probably
good?
read those. Yeah, that's another question.
Different kind of art.
But is it
so much of the appeal for this for me is this art. This art is fantastic. This art reminds me of like it looks more like indie art than like most Marvel stuff. There's way more black. There's way more shading. It looks like a lot of it reminds me of favorite comic ever, Hellboy, where there's just really good use of giant patches of black. A lot of what I'm seeing is what I don't see.
Oh, guess who just came online, boys?
Oh boy, we'll see if he even makes it over here.
I'm going to end the show the second he pops in.
Okay, that'll be a fitting ending.
If he pops in.
I was gonna say, we didn't talk about my favorite, or what I think is the best line in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Where the Skull announces that he's a god, and Captain America pops out of a portal and says that I'm Nietzsche.
Yeah, I love that.
You're vibrating right now, Jason. The mic's cutting in and out real hard.
Okay, that should fix it.
That fixes it. Yeah. So he's the Skull's like talking this whole time. I am a god. Look at how I can make people do what I want. I'm a fucking god. And right after he drops one of those lines, Cap pops out of a portal. If you're God, I'm Nietzsche. And all these all the books like end with a quote, and the end of Cap's book is a Nietzsche quote.
Yep.
Which is a fantastic little bit of foreshadowing.
Yep, sorry.
One of the few things that seems like it's planned.
But yeah, like, there's so much about this to love and hate. I mean, once you really go into the whole, this is a batshit crazy alternate reality, it really works well.
Who that? Who's here?
Oh,
I forgot it was Saturday.
Oh, so you show up in the last 15 minutes, huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'm really sorry.
No, you're good. Let's get some thoughts on Earth X.
Artwork is terrible. Next.
I hate you.
I should say it's bad. I just don't like the fact that it was Alex Ross's pencils and then it was colored. That just doesn't work.
It wasn't Alex Ross pencils.
No, it was Leon's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse. Never mind then.
Alex Ross only did covers.
I didn't. I just no. Look, like I said, what's coming next week? It just doesn't. There's no excuse for that. No.
So besides the art, what do you think of the super fanfiction-y story?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was enjoyable to just know that it's a history that'll probably never happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like with when we'll get to a Kingdom Come, DC did a while because it was so successful. Tried to kind of point towards that future because it was actually a good, Elseworlds tale.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel never. This was a one-off, and that was it. This is now one of their, at the time, one of their infinite different, fucking timelines and shit. So.
I think if you've got this many characters, and this book includes nearly every character in the Marvel cast, I think they managed to keep it on. They kept it on the rails for a surprisingly long amount of time before it went Donkey Kong rail level and started jumping all the way off all the time. Hitting those mine carts over and over and over again.
And just jumping off the cliff every time you respawn. Like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again. It's my ex-girlfriend playing Donkey Kong Country for the first time.
Just gotta take that blind jump sometimes, just do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's no rails in front of you.
Oh,
yeah.
I really, like I said, I apologize for being late. This is all my fault. I went through this whole day thinking it was Friday.
Damn, son.
Maybe I should have figured it out when, like, certain places that I usually, go to were closed. Oh.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, so, oh well.
What'd you think of the Iron Man characterization? We haven't really talked much about Tony in this.
Jason, if you got some thoughts, I'm trying to collect myself at the moment. So,
Well, I kind of love to hate him in it. On one hand, he did aid Norman Osborn's rise to power, but on the other hand, he did have the balls to ride a giant Iron Man to try to take on the Celestials.
Yeah, that was one of the... Okay, so even if Wayne doesn't like the art, did you at least like the really weird Jack Kirby space stuff?
right, yeah, that was.
I thought that stuff actually worked really well.
Yeah, I mean, not everything was bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's kind of like who's an artist that I can cite? Lanil Yu is a good artist, but he's a great inker.
Agreed.
Okay.
If he has a bad inker, his art looks like shit. So, you go. I think you get what I'm saying there. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to bag on the artist too much. It's just that I remember as a wee lad of 19. No, I was 20. When this first came out, I was looking forward to it because I thought it was going to be like Kingdom Come. And then I opened the book and I'm like, oh no.
All right, so that explains some things. I went in with extremely low expectations after hearing you guys talk shit talk this last week.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, hey, this is pretty all right. I expected this to be like coming from True Brit to this big upgrade.
Oh yeah, definitely an upgrade. I mean, hell.
But it's like a solid 7 out of 10 rather than what sounds like is going to be a home run.
Yeah, but as you imagine me as a young lad who was like expecting the home run.
Oh yeah, and you're getting a double,
and I'm getting a double instead. I was like, well, this is good and all, I guess I was expecting Marvels, honestly, and as far as the art goes and stuff like that, and that's not what I got. Which is, that's
and
my
you got
fault.
glorified indie.
What? Yeah.
Because this would be like awesome art for an indie.
Right. Exactly. So,
in fact, that's what this dude, Jean-Paul Leon's mostly known for, is
for his indie stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like he worked with John Arcudi on the RoboCop series in Dark Horse, and like, I guess he did a Cyclops thing. Eek.
Well, that means he should burn for all eternity.
Yeah, time to run away. You did the Cyclops thing.
Yeah, you did Cyclops, burn him. When the eventual graded 0.5 t-shirts come out, gonna just say like, it's gonna be something about like killing Cyclops.
Yeah, fuck Scott.
Yeah, with his visor on it, like.
We should just make hashtag fuck Scott.
Hashtag fuck Scott Summers.
No, just fuck Scott. That way people gotta ask Scott who, and then that's how you trap him.
And then you just favorite the tweet and move on.
Yep.
Got who?
It's our viral campaign.
Yeah, that's exactly like, who is this bald man favorite? And
is that the Myers question?
That's usually the question. Like, who is this bald man? And you just favorite the tweet and move on with your life. Yeah. I mean, it's worked for me so far. Yeah.
I think we've covered it pretty well. I mean, obviously, I think the big takeaway is like, this is a 6, maybe a 7.
Yeah, I mean, God bless. I'm looking at it real quick. It's like that cover for that first issue. That's what I wanted.
Chapter 0 or Chapter 1?
Chapter 1 with the Cap and.
Yeah. Okay, I can see.
Yeah.
Who's that devil dude in the bottom corner? He looks really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, Wyatt looks awesome in this.
Yeah.
But then it's like.
Then you get to the art and you're like, oh.
I mean, then you open the thing, and I'm like, who the fuck even is Daredevil in this?
And then X-51 doesn't even look like X-51, Which,
like I said, cool X-51.
Yeah, well, yeah, he does look like a better X-51, honestly.
And you got a really cool Black Bolt, but then you're like, I know Alex Ross just like gave this dude the notes on it, and
right.
And I would have loved to have seen Alex Ross's take.
Yeah. It was essentially like, yeah, we're writing this and that's it. We're done. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad story. It's a decent story. It's just
there's a lot of cool ideas that just don't come to fruition.
Yeah, I think that was my big problem, because I will agree, the story was good for the first 6 ones, and then I didn't like what happened after that because it was very stitched together and felt very overly convoluted.
It ran into a common Marvel problem of going too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about if you cut out some issues out of there and tied up story ends faster, this would probably be better overall. But I think because of how long-winded it is and everything, that just adds to the fan-fiction-y feel. And because they didn't go all the way in on the fan-fiction-y sort of camp extreme, I think that's why I didn't like it as much as I would if they had gone full-on crazy from the get-go with everything, I think it would have been better. But because they had a nice solid base that was set up for them with the notes and everything, and then went off the rails, it just didn't work for me. And I think that was my problem, is they either didn't stick close enough to the original Marvel formula or go fan fiction-y enough for me. And I think that's why this feels so weird as a story, because it's not a bad story, it just leaves a lot to be desired.
It's just not tight. Like, yeah, exactly what Dick said.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I thought was the worst part?
Go for it.
All these fucking quotes at the end. You're like being super fucking pretentious. Like with quotes from The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. The Nietzsche one worked, but besides that, all of the other ones were like way too fucking pretentious at the end of each book.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like, you just wrote Marvel fan fiction, man. I don't need to...
I don't need your philosophy.
Doesn't help me. Yeah, I'm not coming here for philosophy. I'm coming here for Marvel fan fiction. I don't need to see a quote. Like, let's find a good one, and then I'll shut my fucking mouth. I don't need a T.S. Eliot quote about if you will not have God, you should pay your respects to Hitler and Stalin. I don't need that shit at the end of a Marvel book.
Well, not only that, but that's just a really bad T.S. Eliot quote. There's way better quotes they could have picked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think we've, railed on it enough. Giving people, something to look, see if they want to read it or not. So, yeah. Let's do them exit shillings, shall we? First of all, donate to our Patreon. Patreon.com/graded.5. Spell it out one word. Donate
if we hit that $5,000 goal, we know what Evan's going to do.
Yeah, you know it. I'm gonna take all that $5,000 and buy one hell of a thong and one hell of a horse ride
downtown.
I thought you were gonna end up buying a pound of cocaine, or is that how we get you in the dress?
He's gonna need
that
to
get me there.
That's the
how
courage.
we get there.
Yeah, that's the courage at that point.
That's how we get you in the thong and on the horse.
Yeah.
There's more coke when you get back. You need to ride this horse around the world. I'll fucking do it, man.
Thong budget $20. Horse budget $100. Cocaine budget all the rest of that money.
Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Yeah. Support your local comic shop. Support the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. And we'll see you next week for a better episode.